What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's start with the NBA playoffs, which continues to go on, of course, first round. Towards the end of the first round, the NBA playoffs, we're going to date all the way back to Thursday of last week, a bunch of days ago. Knicks beat the Pistons, 118 to 116 in Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead. Brunson at 37-9, 24-7-11 in the loss for Cade Cunningham. Knicks sneak by. They hold off a Pistons comeback attempt. And Thunder beat the Grizzlies 114 to 108. Finally a close game. They were down big at the half, down 27 at the half. John Morant gets hurt in the third quarter, and Thunder comes storming back to win. 31-8 assists for Shai in the win. They come all the way back and take a 3-0 series lead. And Clippers beat the Nuggets 117 to 83. Blow right by them. 21-11, 6 for Kawhi. 23-13, 13 a loss for Jokic. Clippers take a 2-1 series lead. Then Friday, Magic get a game on the Celtics, win 95-93. 32-7-8 for Franz Wagner, 36-9 in the loss for Jason Tatum. Orlando gets on the board, making the series 2-1. Bucks over the Pacers, 117 to 101. To make it 2-1. Indiana lead, 37-12-6 for Giannis. Siakam with 28 in the loss. And Timberwolves beat the Lakers 116 to 104, 29-8-8 for Anthony Edwards, 38-10 LeBron for the loss. Timberwolves go up 2-1. This weekend, we had on Saturday, Cavs blow right past the Heat, 124 to 87 in a blowout. 22-10 from Jared Allen. They go up 3-0. Thunder over the Grizzlies 117 to 115. They complete the 4-game sweep of the Memphis Grizzlies. They move on to the second round. That Memphis Grizzlies season is over. And the Nuggets get past the Clippers 101-99. 36-21-8 for Jokic. What a just ridiculous player he is. 101-99, they pick up the win, hold off a Clippers comeback attempt in the fourth quarter, and they even up the series at 2. And then on Sunday, we had the Knicks getting past the Pistons 94-93. Brunson 32-11 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns with 2 big, deep threes late. Knicks sneak by the Pistons. There was a controversial call at the end of the game. Tim Hardaway Jr. with a corner 3 as time expired. Looked like there may have been a foul on Josh Hart. I do think it should have been a foul on Josh Hart. As much as I love my Knicks, that probably should have been a foul. However, I don't like when people say, whether it's my team or somebody else's team, or I don't have a dog in the fight, where it goes for me or not. Like, we only lost because of the refs. That's a really just pathetic excuse. The Pistons shot 22% from three-point range. You did not play well down the stretch. Knicks pick up a win. Controversial ending, but they do pick up the win. Timberwolves over the Lakers 116 to 113. Come from behind win for Minnesota. 43-9-6 for Anthony Edwards. Minnesota was now 3-1. They have to do the funniest thing ever. Shannon Sharp, before all the allegations came down, was doing always like stupid rhyme stuff, saying Lakers in 5. Might be Minnesota in 5 now. I'm gonna have a fun time with that, Lakers. LeBron and company. I'm gonna have a fun time with that. I'm telling you right now. Celtics beat the Magic 107-98. They go up 3-1, 37-14, and 3 steals for Jason Tatum. And the Pacers beat the Bucks 129-103, 17 points and 15 assists from Tyrese Haliburton. But even worse for the Bucks, Damian Lillard got hurt in the game, and he now has a torn Achilles. He's been diagnosed with a torn Achilles. Of course, he's out for the rest of the playoffs. It's a horrible, horrible blow for Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks. Dame, of course, one of the league's best players, star point guard for them. He had just came back. He missed last couple months of the season with blood clot issue in his heart. Finally gets cleared for that. Ends up coming back for Game 2 of the series. And only a few games later, tears his Achilles. Really tough break for Damian Lillard, who probably won't play next year now. I mean, torn Achilles is going to miss at least a good chunk of next year. And if not the entire season next year. So really, really tough blow for him. He's a guy who's getting older, has had a great career, but just has not been able to get a championship yet. And now, obviously, he finally gets out of Portland and gets what he wanted to trade to the Milwaukee Bucks. And obviously, he's going to have back-to-back first-round exits, it looks like, and now this really bad injury. So, a really tough break for Damian Lillard. A really tough break for Milwaukee Bucks. They don't have a ton of firepower besides him and Giannis. Already done 4-1 in the series. Coming back is looking like it's going to be next to impossible for the Milwaukee Bucks in the series. And last night, we had the Cavs just destroying the Heat. 138-83 by 55. Nearly broke the record for the largest playoff win ever. Record's 58 or 59. I don't know, the Grizzlies got close in Game 1 against OKC got close in Game 1 against Memphis in Game 1, won by 51. Cleveland wins by 55, 138-83. They sweep the Miami Heat. The margin of victory was very, very large. They won the first game by 21, won the second game by 9, and they won, I think, by 37 in Game 3 and 55 in Game 4. Just ridiculous margins of defeat. I think we need to get rid of the play-in. I'm not gonna lie. The play-in's so dumb. It's like the Heat were 37-45. They were 8 games under 500, and they, made the playoffs. Like, come on. What do you think is going to happen to this team that's been in shambles since very early on in the season when Jimmy Butler was causing all that drama off the court? He gets traded, and now you're left with this, not so good team. And because of how bad the East is, they snuck into the play-in, and they got out because they snuck past the Chicago Bulls, and then they beat who was it? Atlanta, like a team that's just as mediocre as them. And, of course, they got clotheslined by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. And then the Golden State Warriors get past the Houston Rockets in a really good game, 109-106. Butler, 27 and 6 assists in his return to the court. Did not play in Game 3 because of an injury. Sengun, 31-10 in the loss. Warriors took a 3-1 series lead against the Houston Rockets. So that's the NBA playoffs. Congratulations to Evan Mobley. Cleveland Cavaliers power forward was named the Defensive Player of the Year, his first career Defensive Player of the Year. I'm surprised it took him even this long to win his first ever Defensive Player of the Year. He's one of the league's best defenders for a reason, and he wins his first ever Defensive Player of the Year. And the Sacramento Kings have announced they are extending interim coach Doug Christie and will make him the full-time head coach. I would have gone outside the organization for this. The Kings just need a change. Of course, De'Aaron Fox was already traded prior to the trade deadline. I would not be shocked if we see guys in the Domantas Sabonis possibly get dangled in the offseason. This team just need to change. You made the playoffs. You were the 2 seed in the West a few years ago, ended up losing the first round to Golden State. However, you've been you lose in the play-in the last couple of years. The last 2 you're a play-in exit. You have regressed since then. Probably you identified a really good young core with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, and you draft Keegan Murray, and you got a bunch of young pieces, and then you just made dumb move after dumb move. You trade away Kevin Huerter for no reason. Now Fox gets traded, though you do get back Zach LaVine, a couple other players, and a bunch of picks. You signed DeMar DeRozan, hasn't really worked out, and just the front office there and the ownership is really, really bad. And I don't understand what they're doing. You fire Mike Brown midseason for God knows what reason, and now you're kind of stuck in a tough spot. So, but Doug Christie is going to be the full-time coach. He didn't do a horrible job. When they did fire Mike Brown, to be fair, they were not playing well. They were on a losing streak, and they were playing really bad. They were barely hanging on even in the play-in. They were 27-24 under Christie. They were a little bit better, but still, you only ended up the 9 seed in the West. You ended up losing in the play-in. Like most of the Dallas Mavericks in the first round, in the 9-10 battle in the first playing round. I don't see how this is going to get a whole lot better. Probably going to get worse before it gets better. I would have went outside of the organization. But Doug Christie has been extended, and he will get a shot to be the full-time head coach of the Sacramento Kings. NHL Playoffs. So again, we're going to rewind back to Thursday of last week. Panthers beat the Lightning on Thursday, 2-0. That gives them a 2-0 series lead. Then you had the Maple Leafs beating the Senators 3-2. They go up 3-0. And the Wild over the Golden Knights 5-2. And they take a 2-1 series lead on Friday. We had the Canadiens getting past the Capitals 6-3, make a series 2-1. Devils over the Hurricanes 3-2. They make a series 2-1 Carolina. And the Oilers in the highest scoring game beat the Kings 7-4 as they cut the Kings lead in half to 2-1. This weekend on Saturday, Lightning over the Panthers 5-1. Florida's lead in half to 2-1. Golden Knights over the Wild 4-3. They tie up a series of 2 games apiece. And Senators stay alive, beat Toronto 4-3. Toronto's up 3-1. I mean, you don't really think of what could go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But Colorado shuts the Dallas Stars out 4-0. They even up a series of 2 games apiece. On Sunday, you had the St. Louis Blues beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-1. They come back and even the series of 2. Hurricanes over the Devils 5-2. They have a 3-1 series lead. Washington Capitals beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-2, and they now lead 3-1. And the Oilers beat the Kings 4-3 in overtime. They tie up that series up 2 games apiece. And then last night, the Panthers beat the Lightning 4-2. Florida scores 2 goals really late in just 11 seconds, and an empty netter a couple minutes later to ice it. They win 4-2, go up 3-1. And the Stars beat the Avalanche 6-2. They had really struggled offensively all series, finally break through last night. I don't know, crazy back and forth game. They win 6-2, and they now lead 3-2 in the series. As for games that are tonight, we're gonna have assuming you guys are seeing this around 5 o'clock, so this is these games are happening after this podcast comes out. It's currently about 2:30 in the afternoon when I'm recording this right now. You have Senators Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs up 3-1. Devils Hurricanes. By the way, Maple Leafs Senators on ESPN on TBS as well as Max. Devils Hurricanes. Hurricanes up 3-1. Wild Gold Knights are on ESPN. You have 7:30, and then 9:30. That game's tied at 2 games apiece. And then Oilers Kings at 10 o'clock, also on TBS and Max. That series is also tied at 2 games apiece. Some news around the league for 2 non-playoff teams. The New York Rangers extended general manager and president of hockey operations Chris Drury on a multi-year extension, which I do not understand. He's gone through 3 coaches in 4 years. How many bad moves has he made? I've already ranted enough about this guy. However, he has one chance to maybe save himself from me, possibly ranting again about him. The Penguins let go of Mike Sullivan, their head coach of 10 seasons. Sullivan did a really good job there. He won a Stanley Cup in back-to-back years in his first 2 seasons with the team. Took over on an interim basis back in 2016. Ended up going on a roll, getting to 33-16-5, and back in 2016 wins the Cup. The year afterwards was 50-21-11, 111 points, and won the Cup again. He's not gotten past the second round since then, and he's missed the playoffs each of the last 3 years. But the Penguins have a very, very old team that's been aging for several years now, and they refuse to make moves. Obviously, you extended Sidney Crosby before the season. Then he's under contract for 2 more years. You still have Getty Malkin, still have Chris Letang. This team is really, really old. And obviously, you made a change in the front office 2 years ago, letting go of that just awful front office that you had, and you bring in Kyle Dubas, the former GM in Toronto, to be your president of hockey operations. He's made a couple of moves. Some have worked out, some have not. The Erik Karlsson trade overall really hasn't worked out. Obviously, that Tristan Jarry contract was really, really brutal. But he gets let go for 10 seasons. I think he just wanted to change. He was there for 10 years. To me, he's a good coach. I would love to see the New York Rangers hire him. That's what I was alluding to with Chris Drury. He's messed up this coaching thing. Well, 1 time's too many. Obviously he gets put in power late in the season a few years ago, and he fires David Quinn right after the season. He goes in and gets Gerard Gallant. He has him for 2 years. He makes the playoffs 2 years in a row. Fires him. Goes and gets Pierre Laviolette. He's there for 2 years. He makes the conference finals once. Then we got this year, whatever how you want to call this year, and that's all that happened with him. He gets fired, and now we're looking for a new coach again. So I love it if it's Mike Sullivan. He was an assistant with the Rangers many years ago before he took the Pittsburgh job. And he's a very good coach, and I hope that the Rangers hire him. He's my number 1 choice for sure, as he gets let go by the Pittsburgh Penguins. 2 extensions happened in the NFL. We're going to talk about that. Then we'll talk a little wrestling from Friday, and then we're going to close this thing out. The Detroit Lions extend Kirby Joseph 4 years, $86 million. Kirby Joseph emerged as one of the league's best safeties in the entire league this past season. He's always been a pretty steady performer since he came into the league for the Lions, but over the last 3 years, he's been very good. But had a huge year last year, 83 tackles, led the league of 9 interceptions, also had 12 pass defenses. He was voted the top coverage safety in the entire league by PFF this past season. Absolute stud, absolute dog, big part of what the Lions do. And the Lions locked him up, making him, I believe, the highest paid safety ever. That is very bad in math, but I believe that puts him at $21.5 million a season. That's a big contract for a safety, but he was 6th in Defensive Player of the Year voting, first team All-Pro. He is, I would say, at least a top 3 or 4 safety. The only safeties I would even put in the same category as him, or possibly better than him, would be maybe Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore, maybe Minka Fitzpatrick in Pittsburgh, where he's getting older. I would take Kirby over him. Maybe Antoine Winfield in Tampa. I would probably take Kirby over him as well. This guy's an absolute stud, and the Lions lock him down. And the San Francisco 49ers also extend tight end George Kittle. 4 years, $76.4 million, $40 million guaranteed. He's going to last year of his contract, and they give him a big deal. It's $19.1 million a year, $40 million guaranteed for one of the league's best tight ends. Getting a little bit older, he's had some injuries in recent years. Those quieted those concerns a little bit recently. He's a stud, to me, future Hall of Famer. Just a great guy. Obviously, you saw him at WrestleMania. That's a guy I would love to hang out with. Great guy, amazing player. And then the Niners somehow found the money, I guess, from all the, stuff that came off their payroll because they lost everybody this offseason. And they extend George Kittle on a big contract. Let's talk Friday Night Smackdown from this Friday. So it opened up with a promo between John Cena and Randy Orton. That was an incredible promo, just back and forth. And eventually Cena with a bit of a cheap shot on Orton, but Orton gets his get back with another RKO. And it was made official. John Cena will, in his first title defense, will face Randy Orton at Backlash in Randy Orton's hometown in St. Louis. So that is going to be an amazing match, and I'm very happy they're doing that one last time. Then we had Fraxium with their main roster debut, the NXT Tag Champs, against Los Garzas, and Fraxium wins. That was a really good match. These two guys, they are absolutely amazing in the ring. Holy moly. Also, Nathan Frazier a few weeks ago fought Ray Fenix in his first match. He looked really good. But these two guys should never, ever break up. Those two guys are so good. Their chemistry is on point. They may be the best tag team in the world. In fact, I think they are by a decent margin. Then you had Tiffany Stratton against Jade Cargill, which ended in disqualification when Nia Jax made. Well, first Naomi attacked Jade Cargill. Of course, they just had a match at WrestleMania. And then Nia Jax returned. She has been off TV for a while, I think since the Royal Rumble. Obviously, Tiffany was once her, I guess, mentee. And then she attacked Nia Jax from behind, cashing her in the Money in the Bank on Nia. To be honest, we never really got a proper feud between those two. Those two probably should have fought at the Royal Rumble for a championship. It never really happened. But in the backstage, you saw Naomi got in Nia Jax's face. Nia Jax thought goes rude as soon as that was over. But so we'll see if could a tag team match happen coming up this next week. We'll see what happens. But that's what that happened in that match. Then we had Fatu had a little segment. He came out with the U.S. title bout. Of course, Sol Sikoa was with him. And LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and all those friends came out. It ended up being LA Knight against McIntyre in number one contenders match for the U.S. title. And then disqualification when Fatu got involved. Then we had Chelsea Green against Zelina Vega for the Women's United States Championship. And Zelina Vega wins. A new Women's United States Champion. First time a title has ever changed hands. Of course, the title's only been around for a few months. I'm very happy for Zelina Vega. She's worked really hard. She's come a long way. And she's the new champ. Very, very happy for her. I wouldn't have minded seeing that match at WrestleMania, to be honest. Chelsea Green loses the championship. And then we had, of course, The Miz came out to cut a promo after he had his little goofy segment with Carmelo Hayes backstage. And Aleister Black is back in WWE. Of course, he basically knocked The Miz out and then did his little sit-down thing, his music hit. Very happy he is back. He never really got a proper run in his first go-around in WWE. He's really good in the ring. And I am happy that he is back. Of course, his contract with AEW expired and he decided to come back to WWE. I mentioned the LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre match. And the main event was a triple threat TLC match for the World Tag Team, for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Street Profits defended against the Motion, Machine Guns, and DIY. Street Profits come out on top. That was an absolutely amazing match. 5 stars, 10 stars if you can give it 10 stars. That match should have been on WrestleMania. Andrew Dawkins came out and said, like, we want to give them a reason to say, damn, we should put that on WrestleMania, and they absolutely should have. That match was absolutely amazing. 3 teams put on a show. Great match. The Street Profits retained the tag team titles. That's all I got for you guys today. Tune in tomorrow. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.